Aušra, this is your last message you received to your corporate phone, but you will always remain part of digital DNA.
Half of Vilnius was out of any connection. The Minister of Transportation called. I am completely paranoid. I'm so fine.
Giedrius, thank you so much for finding time for me and for this pit stop in your crazily busy days. I know how busy you are. And thank you so much for giving us a chance to film this episode in this amazing place. How happy are people who have a chance to have fun here?
Yeah, I guess you get what you invest into. So we understand, we have a lot of people. We need to communicate too. We have different hobbies. So also I think we can use it for multi-purpose. Also playing the band or just listening to something. But mostly for podcast, of course, and for video.
Oh, nice. Giedrius Dzekunskas, I believe many people know you, Giedrius. But for those who don't, you are leading one of the largest organizations in Lithuania. You have almost 5,000 colleagues here. Tell me about yourself in one sentence. Who are you?
I'm engineer by education. I'm probably manager by the fate. I think I'm introvert by the nature, but extrovert by behavior. So this is how the life I think brought me into the mainstream.
It's interesting that you're saying that. I know you for 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I believe people who know you would never say that you are introvert.
Well, I taught myself, and until I spoke to the people who understand how our brain works, and they said to me, yeah, well, you are definitely introvert.
I asked you to bring one thing to the podcast that represents you as a person the best. What did you bring?
I thought to bring my Slayer t-shirt, but then I thought, look, that probably doesn't represent me all. What I brought is a picture of a house which has been built by my granddad. It was like a small house. And then my dad has upgraded this to slightly, a larger one, but also very, very simplistic, very basic stuff. So I spent there all my summers, starting from the first. I would not call it house, it's like a shed. And then slightly familiar then with the shape to the house, what my father did. And then I built up my house. I'm still living there, like on the same place.
Wow.
So basically it's kind of a history. What does it represent and why I thought this is a good idea? I think if I look to myself, I'm pretty faithful. If I stick to the things, I stick to the things. I am a little bit old-fashioned. I want to do the stuff by my own bare hands. So even though I am not a mason, but well, I can manage the project. I can build the budgets. I can learn the basic stuff, and then even supervise the construction. So this is something you create. So it's a lot about me, about creating the stuff. I really like to build it. I'm curious to learn the new things. I'm 50, wherever now, I don't know, 53. And I think I'm still curious. So if I don't have enough mental challenge, then I create one. So last winter I bought a broken motorcycle. I never fixed motorcycles. I said, okay, now I need to fix that.
Broken motorcycle?
A little bit broken, so it's like, and then kind of, okay, I bought a book, I read
But are you driving motorcycle?
Yeah, I learned, and that was the thing. So kind of, and I need to fix it, and then
I never knew. Okay. When have you learned riding motorcycle?
All my hobbies I learned by accident. I said, okay, I'll try, but I'll not do it. Wherever does it go, for motorcycle, for competitive shooting, for, I don't know, flying paraglider or any other stuff. I learn, but I will not do it. And then you learn, you get a license or you get the basic skills, and then you say, okay, maybe I'll do it a little bit. And then actually you do more than you intended. So yeah, motorcycle, I drive the motor scooter to work at summertime. Motorcycle is a bit too heavy for city, let's be honest. I think with motor scooter you are much more efficient, at least to fight the traffic jams.
You like doing stuff by hand, so what is the thing that you crafted by your hands and you are so proud?
Oh, that's interesting. What I have crafted during the COVID time, I have to equip my my place, my working room, and I wanted to kind of have a good sound and everything else. It's not about being proud, it's like simple things. So I found a broken old Sony music center or something, break it down, and adapt it to the, being able to connect to my computer, and then kind of that becomes a room loudspeaker system. So kind of, it's not like being so much proud, but this is the things I like to.
How do you find time for this?
I think during COVID, everybody got time. You always find the time for the things you like, whether it's a good or bad things. So let's be honest. Look at Elon Musk. He finds the time for the free companies to run and then still playing Minecraft or whatever games he's playing online. So, I think it's, if you like it, so you always find the time.
Is it something that drives you, Giedrius?
I think I'm not pretty much unique. I guess everybody getting healthy, getting in a good mood, once we do the things which you like, and probably accomplish the things, when we can get a little bit of satisfaction what we have done. And then I guess this is the process certainly gets you there as well, but I guess the process towards the end result, which is satisfaction of what you have achieved or what you have built, is like for the better good. I think this is so common in all us as human beings, and then when we accomplish that, we are probably happy, right? So I cannot describe the happiness more than this. So kind of it's a process towards to something which is nice to build. Maybe sometimes idealistic. In my case, it doesn't matter. Then you never achieve that, but you almost achieved that.
If I would go now to people who know you very well,
yeah,
to your friends or to your family, and I will ask about you, what they will tell me?
I think we need to ask them. I just can guess. Probably will tell me what I'm kind of, if you ask in my workplace, I really hope they will tell what Giedrius is very honest. I hope so. I hope they will tell what I can talk very straight. That has a pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate if you would mention what I'm honest, not only in the one-to-one talks, but also when I talk to audience. So when we communicate in very authentic way. So I truly believe people don't need to become corporate in the jargon, in the how we dress, and even how we behave. If you can, please resist that to the extent you can, and then stay yourself. This is the something what I believe attracts the people and makes our lives much better when we are staying authentic to the level it's possible in our world.
Being straight, you have two sides, as you mentioned. On one hand, for people, it's very cozy. They know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's kind of predictability. On the other hand, not everybody is ready to accept straightforward feedback.
In our company, we get a kind of open mics, and we launch open mics with anonymous comments. And something has been happening in the company. And the people, instead of asking the questions, they probably felt bad. They've been more making a statement online. Sometimes pretty harsh towards leadership or the company. But I'm okay with being harsh. I'm not okay with being non-respectful to others. And then we thought, what do we do? Because that's probably like a few angry people stuck somewhere in life, or we do something really bad. And we analyze the case. And we said, look, probably the way we run the open mics, the managers are not very comfortable to answer to the point, or they answer in the way they understand the thing. But contextually, employees, it's harder for them to understand. And then it's this a very classical disconnect. People want to have a simple answers, and then instead of that, we are coming with a little bit corporate jargon. And we said, okay, we're going to change this first. And then we said, okay, let's run the open mics, and then and we will answer the questions as straight to the point as we can. But then there's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to be able to handle the truth.
Exactly.
the truth which I understand is, from my perspective, not necessary. There is no universal truth, right? And I think it was a kind of a game changer, at least for me. The more tough questions you get, I think the more straight to the point I try to answer them. It doesn't make everybody happy, but I think this clears up the path forward, and I think that builds a trust. Pretty simple.
What is one thing that people often misunderstand about you?
I don't think it's about me. I think it's about most other people who happens to be in the management positions or leadership position. A lot of people think that for all of them it's very important power. And power for a lot of them actually it's not a goal on itself. So it's not what we are going for. And sometimes not even the money. So I think it's a little bit about the influence, what you need to make the things which you like to make. So it's not about power, I guess, not about money.
Mm-hmm.
It's about influence. And it's not because you want to have influence, it's a tool to make things happen. So I think this is kind of much brighter than just the money, power, and whatever.
What you are sharing now is very impressive, Giedrius. For me, you are a very strategic leader with big heart.
I don't know. I'm not pretty sure I'm a strategic leader, but at least I love the success.
What do you learn from people who disagree with you?
I think we have to disagree more. I like disagreements. I think this is how the truth is born in a very short period of time. People should be able to disagree all the time. I think the more we disagree because we have our own opinions, I'm not offended. I'm not getting the best ideas in the room. But I guess by asking the questions or putting the ideas forward, I hope I'll stimulate other people to think, okay, that could be done differently, or that could be amended on top of it, or actually this is in general a bad idea. So this is what I learned from the people. I think, disagree more, and then I think at the end of the story we will get a better result.
When you are at the top, there are not many people who are brave enough to disagree with you. Some of them are naturally bold and they say what they think without hiding anything. But the others are more like kind of politically savvy a little bit in this corporate world, and they are not that brave to say what they think and disagree with you openly. And sometimes maybe for you as a top leader, it also takes some effort to kind of create the atmosphere where disagreements can be handled in a way that people would be willing to share more and more. How does it work for you?
Okay, let's agree. I'm not at any top. So I'm not at any top. So I'm just a manager, which is hired to do the job. So if you ask my observations, I see it all the time. There are the techniques, and I think the bold leaders understand that. They don't comment, they don't express their opinions, or they don't even propose anything until all the rest of the team does it. So I think that's kind of a very tactical thing, how you're going to do this. I guess we can handle it tactically. But first of all is probably is to create the feeling of safeness and the trust. It's about psychological safety. And I think if you're able to create that in the team, and then no one is actually feels bad about having own opinion, a disagreement. But this is not. If you look to how many really leadership or management teams you know, where the people can get into a really constructive disagreement. So not too many. So I guess every manager or leader should be measured by one of those things. I'm able to instill this social safety into my team, that people can be open and challenge each other, and especially leadership in a constructive way. Of course, you have to be professional. Of course, you have to understand what you're talking about. But then, I think by this point, all the management teams are professional.
What would be your best advice to leaders who want to create psychological safety in their leadership teams and below?
I'm not an expert in that. I think we need to ask the people like you.
But what works for you? What works and what doesn't, maybe? Because it is also valuable.
I think walk the talk. If you say, hey, let's get a constructive criticism. So let's be then ready when some ideas of people you are not really comfortable with, give it a try and let it do. Even that oppose you, I think then you build a track record. And the people who are engaging in the conversations, actually, they kind of not win, but their ideas go forward. It's not like adjusted your idea. No, it's their ideas go forward. So I think, we did this example, our communication lady, Sylvia, she came with the idea of making escape rooms in our office. Escape room, when you come in and then do something. I looked at the budget, I looked at escape room, and looked at the whole idea. I said, no, she's totally crazy. I mean, why we should do that?
Escape from what?
Escape rooms. Yeah, I mean, you get into the escape room and then spend an hour try to solve the different mental puzzles. And then, of course, that could be about crypto, about cryptography, IT.
But you escape together with a group of people, or you can escape alone if you need.
You can do it alone, but mostly no, it's like a time-based team exercise. And in office, and it's custom made for you based on your idea. It costs, a lot of money, in my opinion. And I said, no, come on. That's probably Giedrius, you should stop this at this stage. But then I said, okay, fine. I know she's professional. I know she's usually doing a very good job. I said, fine, okay, let's give it a try.
Just trust her and the process.
Well, yeah. And then I think, that happened, and then everybody loves it. And, that's a blast. And we do it in the second year in a row now. So second year in a row, so it's kind of all times are booked. It's like 1 month in office, and each hour people are changing at different teams, and we even cannot accommodate all of them. So it's 1 hour to spend, a massive boost in in the mood and also in the teamwork, and fantastic. And also the proof points, what managers are not the smartest people. We're spending almost 1 hour with my leadership team there, and then we barely escape from the room. And I think the best time was close to half an hour. So I think this is just a...
But that's amazing example. So what people can do when you put trust in them, they just do whatever. You know what you do, I trust you.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I think I don't think I'm doing my best. I'm talking far too much in the meetings. I have all my head is always spinning with a lot of ideas. I like the whiteboard. I don't know, 15 years, I'm passionate to put all the ideas there. I said, probably my memory is too short, so I have to draw the things, but actually this is probably how the brain is stimulated to think. So, and then I like doing that. I think each of us got our own style, how you involve the people in the thinking process. Instead of talking together or, doing things together, I think ideally you should be able to get to the mode where you're actually thinking together. So let's think together, and and then you start co-create the stuff. I think this is the highest form of nirvana.
Wow.
Yeah, but think about that.
For you and for the team, I believe.
I'm not sure, so you need to ask them.
I've been in the team like this. I know what it means.
Okay, so when you co-create and then it's not my idea, it's not your idea, it's kind of something we are getting into without knowing where we need to be. So this is more interesting because some managers, they come with a vast experience. So we have another benefit. They say, hey, I know how the future looks like, you just have to trust me. So, and then, of course, it's like easy to trust the leader when, he's not bringing you to the ditch. Generally speaking, but I guess while you co-create together by not knowing what stands in the future, that's even more energy.
What's your personal value you would never compromise on?
I guess don't break the trust which is given to you. You can call it integrity, but I make it much more simple. So if someone entrusted me something, then I think I cannot take advantage of it or do anything else. I don't break that trust, and I would expect that from others. Because this is what I think destroying most. and people get upset, and then we get, I think, not only disillusioned, but I guess we get, we keep it such events for the entire life, and then we can become less trustful in general. Start sorting people to can I trust or not, and then that breaks the trust inside of a team, inside of I think society, individuals. So don't screw up with that.
Would you give a second chance?
For some people, I mean, you still can be together. You still can do the work in the same department, or even being a colleague, if you broken the trust, right? But there is something which I will not entrust you anymore. Or kind of. So for me, trust is given. I'm very naive. I always give a trust, and then I trust the people behave on their very best intentions. And then I'm getting disappointed. This is kind of proven by also the people who run my brain tests, and this is that, okay, you are very naive, Giedrius, and then you kind of you're swinging to another side when the trust is broken, and then this is too much of an emotional swing. So you have to kind of not being so naive, and then you don't get so much disappointed. I mean, screw all this. I want to be naive and I want to be disappointed. That's fine with me, okay? So fine. I can do that. This is me. I will not change it. This is hardwired into me. You might be different. You might have a much better balance emotionally. So I'm not. Okay, who cares?
What's the biggest challenge you had to overcome in your career?
Probably biggest challenge, I think emotionally, is probably most difficult things is to disassemble something you have created through the years. And I need to do that in one of my previous careers when we created a fantastic business. Super profitable business, but company changed the strategy, and we literally have to dismantle it and say to the customers bye-bye, and kind of also to the our all ideology, caring about the customers, how we do that, and that was probably really challenging. But this is kind of my first big challenge, which I remember that was kind of broken my heart, and then I kind of left. I wrote down the letter to my boss of my boss. I still remember that, and said, okay, I'm carving out this business, but I don't think I earn my salary. And send it, and then, he called me.
You just volunteered?
No, I just kind of, my job is over. I've done my job. I sent him this email that was, and he called me back after 2 months, and I was on the back from the conversation with one of the companies who just called me up and said, hey, maybe you would like to do the job. And I said, yeah, maybe. The job is actually pretty tough. It's not what I really like, but I cannot do this, what I'm doing now. And he called me up and said, no, Giedrius, now you can relocate to another good country because this kind of is a rather small business, and I refused to do that. I said, thanks so much, but never send me an offer. That could be a great offer, I guess. I would assume that would be like a super good offer for my family and myself, but I was so tired from destroying the things you've been creating. I literally was on the way out. So that was super difficult emotionally. But if you look into the personal challenges, which is difficult, I got it a couple times in my career, kind of keep on still repeating on it, I don't know why. When you get a challenge, like a new job or a new challenge ahead, and actually this is much above your capabilities or pay grade. And then on top of it, you don't even get appropriate support from your leaders. And then you're like, oh my God.
Go and swim.
Oh my God, yeah, there I am. I mean, and sometimes that ends up well, and sometimes that ends up not that well, actually. You think you're failing, and, it's very difficult to handle your frustration or, this fear of failure. And then you understand that you are not in control, and you try to put everything possible to be in control. So, but normally even with that, you end up much better than you think yourself.
Exactly.
After all is over, that was the case where I got the job, which is like leading the service units in one of the previous company in entire Scandinavia, and I kind of never did. By this time, I mean, leading so diverse international teams, which is running in very, very different environments. And actually, I didn't know, but those teams been fighting with themselves because we would like to stay independent rather than united under a certain, economies of scale type of umbrella. I didn't know by this time, but actually all centralization brings disappointment and all decentralization brings happiness. I didn't know that. I was too young to kind of, oh yeah, we can do it. That's obvious. I mean, all together we are much more efficient. Yes, not for everybody.
Rational, it's possible. It
Yeah,
makes
I mean,
sense.
but how does it affect people, and how does it affect the importance, the independence, and
Their habits, most probably, that they are
yeah.
used to.
And then I guess, I didn't know what manager gave me this job, actually, because he failed himself to unite those teams. And I said,
And he needed extra hands to
yeah,
handle
but
this.
look, I mean, not a 27-year-old boy from the country called Lithuania, but that was the thing. And I was like struggling, I guess, for 1.5 years. At the end of the story, we have to dismantle all the company. But then after 1.5 years, we've been sitting in Tivoli, and I think it was Norway, Sweden, Denmark, myself. And we've been keep on bringing those, I don't know, different aquavits because of Norway and Sweden and this and that. And I was like, oh my God, I mean, this is the last day. Actually, I'm pretty happy with all this over. And then my manager on that time turned to me and said, hey, Giedrius, look, actually you did so well. I said, look, it's a complete bust. We didn't achieve the synergy. We didn't achieve the economies of scale. He said, no. I mean, the way teams started to work together was like more than I was expecting. In the way the teams, they start to be transparent with the budgets, with the effort. It was more than I was expecting. So I said, fine.
So your expectations were much higher,
yeah, indeed,
than somebody who hired you to do the job.
Yes, but they have to give me a feedback on the way, actually. It's not like I am completely paranoid. I'm not. But then, this is another thing. If people don't talk, and I think most of us are high-touch individuals. We need, especially when you work remotely, when you are on the kind of matrix international setups, we need to get a touch points to reconfirm wherever we are. Okay, emotionally, are we in the right kind of, are we doing the right thing, etc. We don't need instructions. We don't need micromanagement. It's not about that. It's about like thinking together how we can do it, and then asking an opinion and get the support, feeling appreciated. All this, what we need to provide to if you are the manager, and you list it for yourself what you want. So I think there's a good trick. You list to yourself all you want, all those things, right? And then put on the top on it your name, dear Giedrius, please do following, and then sign it, your subordinates. And that would be exactly the same. That would be exactly the same.
I love this touch points. Touch point. This is a very nice way to say it.
Yeah, I think occasional touch points. We are social beings. If you look to a COVID and then work in office, work at home, this and that. So when the COVID hits and we get this, all the LinkedIn exploding, how great it is to work from home, like in the first 2 weeks. I was like putting my statement. Well, I don't think this is like really we know what we're entering into. As a social beings, we move to the top of a food chain just because we are so good at social interactions. Our brain is constructed in this way. Empathy, I just read an article what empathy is, when kind of uses, let's take an example, when you can feel what other people feel. You can barely sit in the room with, where another person is like, they have to remove a teeth or, fix it up, just even painful to look, and you feel it yourself, right? Actually, kind of this is the skill which made Homo sapiens much more effective. By someone looking to another man, how he makes this kind of some instrument, or how he treats the skin, or how he makes an arrow. Actually, by just looking, we already learn it. So, and now we try to wipe out 20, 40,000 years of a history by stating, hey, kind of, everybody could, or, we are as effective as we are, or even more, by just like being separated by the screen. I don't believe in it. I think we are human beings, we are social, and getting to those touch points, I think we have much more to offer to each other when we are together than just a kind of email and the job done. Of course, if you are kind of super individual contributor and you have a good hobbies, not completely go crazy at home alone, or good connections in the families, that's pretty fine. But we really are single contributors.
This episode carries a little extra calm, thanks to Vytautas Mineral Spa in Birštonas, Lithuania, a place to recharge, reconnect, and find balance, something every leader needs. You mentioned fear of failure. What's your biggest failure?
Oh my God, I have many. I fail often. I'm afraid, the more you fail, actually, less you worry about the next one. But still, I think it's in there. Kind of, I really want to avoid the big failures.
What is big failure for you?
Well, I mean, when you kind of unintentionally hurt people, and when you unintentionally destroy the value, when you induce something which has an effect on negative effect on someone, or the financial outcomes, but especially I think the human. And then you kind of you understand how much of things you are entrusted, so you have to act responsibly, and then make sure this is all. It's not like all on you, but this is something people expect, and we plan their lives, and the plan their rollouts, and the projects, and the customers, and then I think you're becoming the chain of something which is important. So kind of, I'm still a little bit sometimes afraid of like screwing up it, whatever the job I'm in. I don't think it's very healthy. I'm very happy by the people who are not, but then also that becomes kind of a, I think together mix. I don't believe like in the pure emotion, which is one. Okay, like afraid to fail, and then you do something, or actually vice versa. I'm so super inspired, but I do something. But I guess it's get into the mix of your individual properties and your motivation and your fears, and everything is like a big ball for me. I'm super curious all my life. When my mom was bringing me to the sandbox to play with other kids, another mom's been grabbing the kids and bringing them home because I was let's do this and then let's do that.
And then you had your own big space for
No.
yourself.
I mean, I was just interacting too much, and then curious how we did this thing, and then what does this red button do? So that's for later. One of those failures which brought me into now I can tell it's curiosity and the failures, and that's also probably one of the best examples of a good leadership. I was the technician, and I was running one of the first biggest telecom kind of switches, core switches, which is actually run all the telephone networks. And it was very long, a learning process. So it's about 5 years you need to really learn to make it right.
Was it your first job?
That's kind of my second job. Okay. So, and then first one with analog stuff, and then I moved to this digital one. But actually, and there's a kind of the number of commands and the books like this, thick like this, is like 30 of them. And then we start from A, and then B, and the C, and with the command names. It's like long commands. You have to type it, and then look how you have to understand architecture. And I was like, okay, it was no formal training, so I said, okay, let's start systematically. And I was taking book by book, A, B, and then quickly I get to the C. And C stands for central processor. I was sitting in the Friday afternoon. Okay, C. Okay, how to swap central processors? It's not the best idea, trust me. In the middle of the day, and I swapped the central processors, everything got bust, half of Vilnius was out of any connection.
And
then my manager, the Minister of Transportation, called to my manager. I didn't know that. And then he said, look, yeah, we have a bug in the software, we're gonna fix it. He was fixing it until 4 o'clock in the morning. And he never told to anyone, but it was me.
Wow.
Oh, it was like, oh my God. It was, of course, the hardware failure in the processor, but until I touch it, that was not the case. But then that helped me a lot also in my future jobs. Like I was running IT operations for the entire bank. And then you understand why the change management is so important. Then you really understand why you should not do the things you didn't know, haven't tested. It's not safe to do them in this time. You you need to have a backup plans. I think that's a big lesson for me also for my future. And that brings me clear understanding why we need to control the changes in the environment in the proper way. But I think the reaction from the manager was brilliant. Yeah, I think he never told anyone it was me. It was like, oh my God, it's really terrible. Because it was no mobile networks on that time. When I broke the stuff, it's like literally half of the city was blacking out.
But that's impressive how he was able to handle this in relationship to yourself as your manager.
Yeah,
and you still remember this, not
he's a good guy.
only the situation itself, but the way how the manager behaved with you.
Yeah, it's a great guy. And, then I think he's still in hardcore engineering in telco. So, a great guy.
What's your biggest fear, Giedrius?
I don't know. I think beside of dying, I think we are kind of afraid of death. But then beside of dying, I guess be bored. And when you're getting bored, I guess this is something what people should be afraid of. If you're getting stuck in this boredom, and life is not any more interesting, or we just like look and watch YouTubes, or lying on the sofa and do nothing, that was pretty terrible. That was pretty terrible because your life is just getting passed through, and then the time flying by and nothing happens. I think you're just wasting your time. I think not get to the situation where you are not useful, and I think being useful is important to me. I don't know, maybe some people who do yoga can do different. I cannot. Probably be useful.
What would you advise to people who want to be useful, but they don't have an idea how, or they are not sure, or they are not brave to start doing things that they believe maybe this can help them to be more useful, but they are still thinking about opinions of others more than their own passion?
I don't think people need to, sink themselves into the philosophies or I believe in action. So if you get stuck, it's the same question about a career. If people get stuck in their career and they don't feel useful or whatever, I think if you have really troubles in life, go to a psychotherapy or home coach or anybody else. This is helpful.
Do not stay alone.
Yeah, I mean this is helpful, right? So, but then if you look to a professional life, if I look to the many people who are like getting stuck in, I think in the careers, or we think that we are stuck, right? And they ask me for advice, what I should do, change a job, think differently, this and that. And I've been a coach of a couple. I think most of the time, I mean, first of all, before you do anything, try to do the current job well, in my opinion. And if in 6 months to 1 year you don't see any prospects, or you are really doing it well, but there's nothing in the front of you, or even it is, that's okay. Then I think you kind of look for the more drastic change and change the environment you are in. Looking for the better place. But I guess people very often are kind of changing and looking for something before they even try it out hard what they are in currently. It doesn't work all the time, but normally when you start jumping from one place to another, I think looking for yourself, I understand this is kind of the exploration path, but then at least try harder to be excellent in whatever you do. I mean, you are a cleaning lady or cleaning man, or you're a butcher, or I think just do your job to a perfection. That would be great, actually. Like any sport which needs a muscle memory, precision, dedication. I think the job does the same. So, and then you kind of I think start switching the stuff, and then that makes sense.
Don't be too quick to change, right?
I mean, try harder first. Mm-hmm. Of course, if the environment is absolutely toxic, non-supportive, if it's not up to your skill, or you don't yet figure out where is your strength. Then, yeah, of course, that takes time, but at least I think I would never kind of advise to my kids, start switching to jobs age half a year just because they didn't find themselves. I know it's kind of not a mainstream nowadays. Now I think the older people are brave. They are kind of looking for themselves. They are changing the jobs as gloves, and kind of that induces the attrition rates in the companies, which is actually super high. Even in the downturn of economy, we are still facing attritions like 15% or more in the industries. And kind of that's cool because people are kind of moving, they're finding themselves. On the other hand, that also hinders the productivity. If you look to the attrition rates, that hinders the productivity. So it's not good, I guess, such a behavior when attrition grows about like a 30% or so. This is a disaster.
How do you know, Giedrius, when it's time to let someone go?
That's probably the hardest thing to know for the managers. I think for most of the managers, I think the firing decision or decision when you have to disconnect the relationship is probably most difficult decisions. One of my bosses said, Giedrius, we love to do the changes for other people, but we hate when the changes are done to us. And it's so true.
That's very human.
Yeah, but that's so true, right? But then I decided when it goes, I think different situations. When the people become really toxic and they start to get energy from the bad things they're doing actually, or not like lost in life sometimes, but that happens, right? So getting in a bad mood, getting stuck in a career, getting into a corner. So that happens. But then I think when you become toxic, probably you have to help other people to not encounter such individuals, because they're destroying, I think, all the good energy around them. So I think toxic people, if you consider someone is happy, he doesn't want to improve. He doesn't want the company to improve. He just wants to enjoy the blame, and get those out, I guess, as quickly as you can. And then I guess other reasons are when you truly believe that this person can be much more happy if he will find another better environment he is happy with, and then rather than struggling or team is struggling. So a lot of good individuals actually who are happy in the jobs, but in a different job. It's not like getting rid of people. It's different. Try to redeploy them, or try to find. If you are a good experience manager, you can see. Okay, I used to have a great architect running the team, and it was continuously troublesome. Different aspects, and at some point I said, this is not sustainable anymore because the team's suffering, and actually the stakeholders are a little bit of not happy by the results. Outcome is not there. And I said, I'm sorry, but after 1 year of coaching, it doesn't seem to help. Yeah, I'm too long.
You are very patient.
I mean, that's too long. So I'm sorry, but I need to find a new job.
If you could change one thing in the business world, Giedrius, what it would be?
It's a lot about getting the fair remuneration for the contribution you do. And then it's up to you how many efforts you put, not necessarily at the job, but even before, into your education, into your school, into the, time you spend crafting your craft. If I would have a miracle moment and say, hey, this is happening, like everybody should be paid to the level of his or her contribution to the good which have been created by or contributing to be created by this company. So fairness. I think we try to be fair as much as we can. Yet it's very difficult exercise when people know it, right?
And sometimes it's about perception also.
It's perception, it's about supply and demand and a lot of things. But if that you kind of round up and make it like social justified justice, not like social justice, but justice. Social justice is a different thing. Justice is something better. Then I think that would be one thing. Fair. And that would remove a lot of stuff from our tables and daily thoughts and work, and do your best and you get paid for you do. wouldn't be a miracle. And then imagine how stimulating it is for the individuals then to find the place where you can really contribute the best.
And feel treated fairly.
Yeah, and
in
always
terms of
feel
what they
treated
get
fairly.
in return.
Yeah.
I believe many of us would love to have this magic stick.
I'm not sure, because some of people will be heavily downgraded in the income.
That's the downside of it. Be careful what you wish.
Yeah, be careful what you wish, indeed. But that's okay, as long as it is justice.
For whom and for what you are grateful for?
I guess this is something I need to develop, very, very honestly. You know, people say, hey, you know, if you feel the anxiety or anger or frustration, you have to think about the things you've been grateful and, you know, whom you're grateful to. I'm not really good at this. Of course, it's easy to say, you know, you're grateful for your mom. Well, I truly am. You know, she is the one who shaped me who I am. And then, of course, I should be grateful. But it's not like a feeling when you woke up each morning and feel, I'm grateful. You know, it's not. I think I should be much better for with that. I guess for the, probably I'm, kind of, if you think deeper, I think I'm grateful for the people who help me in life, but I don't know them. I think this is a big thing, helping someone and actually not being rewarded by the gratitude. So this is, I think, there are a lot of situations in my life which a lot of people help me out and I'm not even know that was taking the place.
Giedrius, I have something for you.
What is it?
You said you didn't dare to take your t-shirt, but since I got your email with
God.
this brand name and with this quote, I thought that maybe it can be something that could remind you this day.
Ah, cool, good. You're a miracle.
Liberal in
Yeah.
your heart in human interactions and conservative in your business thinking.
And still very much not grown-up kid. You know, when I was, that was one of my favorite bands when I was young. And we keep on reminding me how cool we are.
Yeah.
You know, when the Kardashian put the t-shirt with Slayer, and I think the fans start telling them, hey guys, you know, what happened? You are paying to Kardashians to promote your world tour. And we thought, that's never been agreed. And actually, that's completely opposite of the entire, I guess, philosophy. And then you see the concert, and the Slayer vocalist comes with a like t-shirt, "Kill Kardashians." I mean, totally nuts.
Oh my!
I mean,
that's
just make a statement. We have nothing to do together.
Oh my God.
It's a great guy, a great guy. I think, you know, great for the fans and also, you know, his philosophy in life. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
That's
thank
really
you.
cool.
Thank
That's really
you.
cool. Slayer.
If you could give one piece of advice to 20-year-old self,
Huh.
what it would be?
I wish I could. And then you know, I will probably say, hey, you know, life is much more fun when you think. You know, many people worried the entire life about the things which actually will never happen. So I think don't spend time too much on worrying about the things, because actually 99% of them will never happen, what you worried about. So I think life is much more fun, you know, probably take even more risky decisions, not like risky for your physical being, but in terms of your career, learning curve, certain decisions you could make. You can take much more risk actually than you think, and still get a life from it. So that's more fun.
Thank you so much. I take this advice personally, and it put in my heart. This is so relevant. When I said that you are a very strategic leader with big heart, you said, yeah, I'm strategic, but not about heart. I don't know if you remember, but I remember it.
Yeah.
That was 2018, August 27.
Oh, no.
And this is my last day
Ah.
with the Danske Bank. And on this last day, at 5 p.m., 5:01 p.m., I'm getting this message to my phone, and the message says, Aušra, this is your last message you received to your corporate phone. All Danske Bank applications will be wiped from it, but you will always remain part of digital DNA. And now it is your personal phone, G. And then I send heart to you, but it says not delivered. So. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There is much more to come.